Music for global change. Creating music that inspires the world. Welcome to the Music for Global Change broadcast. And now here's your hosts, founder and music ambassador Skyler, Jett, with Deborah Fenella and Tom Bryant.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to start a revolution? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to start a revolution?
Greetings, namaste. Welcome to the Music for Global Change broadcast. Hello, I'm Deborah Fenella here with music ambassador and founder of Music for Global Change, Skyler, Jett, and also presenter Tom Bryant.
Yay.
Welcome once again to Music for Global Change. Now, we're really blessed and excited as well because we're now going all the way across to Hawaii to interview celebrity Eric Daniels. He's a keyboardist, arranger, music director as well, and he's worked with so many celebrities. I lost count, to be honest, and he's also worked with our wonderful Skyler, Jett as well. So welcome this evening, Eric. How are you?
I'm great. I'm just waking up here. It's beautiful here in Hawaii. I've been looking forward to this Zoom broadcast. I don't really do Zoom broadcasts. I really don't. So this is probably the second Zoom broadcast.
Wow. Oh wow!
Yeah. I'm not a social media butterfly. That's not me. At the moment.
Now, Eric, you've played the keyboard professionally for 44 years. You've also been a musical director of several artists throughout your career as well. But you also started on your music career on your 19th birthday, playing in Washington, D.C. at the city's largest arena, which sold out 19,000 tickets, which is fantastic. You also were touring with Graham at Central Station, and the group founded by Larry Graham, a famous bassist from Sly and Family Stone. Now, from there, it went from strength to strength, because after that, you returned to the Bay Area and then you moved to Los Angeles to record with Larry and his friend Walton Rabb for Warner Brothers. But also that song, an album, was 1 in a Million that you released in 1980 and was number 1 for 4 consecutive weeks. So congratulations. Yeah. So one question I would like to ask you, Eric, have you got any other musicians in your family?
Well, my mom, she is a pianist still. She still has a piano in her home. And I just got off of Google Duo with her yesterday, and the piano was in the background. So she's still twiddling away and making great music herself. My grandmother, who has gone back to the essence, was a wonderful pianist as well. That was the extent of music in my family, but it influenced me a lot to hear my mom play classical and play gospel all at the same time. She'd just sit down and rip something out and then switch to gospel and then switch back and go back. And I was like, wow. I want to do that too.
So you found your inspiration behind being guided down that path from the age of 19. So would you all sing around the piano as a child growing up?
Piano was kind of reserved for church. My family, my grandfather was a pastor, and so we would show up at church and kind of lay it out or go to choir rehearsal and lay it out. But at home, things were relatively quiet. Until I started playing. Then it got kind of going.
You went to the rock and roll.
Because I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this all the time. But you know what? I didn't want to do the lessons. I got to say, in the beginning, I was like, I just want to do this for fun. But they made me take lessons with a wonderful teacher. Her name was Doris Taper, and she was very patient. I think she understood how anxious and mischievous I was at playing because I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do the lesson per se. So she found ways around that to make it work where it was still interesting to me and to keep me engaged the entire time.
Brilliant. So how did it feel when you got on that stage in front of 19,000 people for the very first time? Was you a little bit nervous, but also excited as well?
I got to tell you, it's something I dreamed about, for the past, for the previous 3 years. I was like, oh my God, I want to be on the big stage. I want to do all this fantastic stuff that I see other artists do.
Yeah.
And that moment came, and literally I was going to throw up. I remember walking down the corridor from the dressing room and just feeling lightheaded and queasy. And, I'm 19 and it's like, okay, you got to be careful what you wish for. Yeah. So we're walking down the hall, and I got to tell you, when it all turned around, we're getting towards the stage, and the audience, they announced this, and the audience went berserk before we played a note.
Oh, wow.
Butterflies went away immediately. I was like, oh, they want us.
Yeah. Oh my God, man.
It was the greatest 19th birthday any 19-year-old could ever have.
And I wish
who's a musician. Yeah, the first thing I thought was, don't mess up.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I've known Eric for almost 50 years. Yeah, because what we talking about,
50.
We're talking before 80, like in the 70s.
Skyler,
right?
you got to learn the secret, man. You got to say, I've known him for over 10 years.
There you go.
You got to say.
And he's like the most incredible keyboard player I've ever, and he's left-handed. So he's got this other thing, this like amazing. Eric, tell a story about you getting the gig with Janet Jackson, how you got the call and you guys were on the way to the store.
I remember getting the call from Rex Salas. And I had been doing the television show on Fox that was called Comic Strip Live. We were in the last week of the last season of the show.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, what am I going to do next? And he actually calls and he goes, hey, what are you doing next week? And I didn't want to say, hey, nothing at all. But I said, yeah, what you got in mind? I might be open.
Yeah.
And he goes, you want to audition for Janet? There's a spot left. And I thought, oh my God, you have no idea how much I love Jimmy and Terry, their productions, and Janet. I just loved them. And actually, I knew Janet's songs really well.
Yeah.
And I actually had sounds in my keyboard already programmed from doing gigs around town. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. I remember going into the place was called the Complex in Santa Monica. Uh-huh. And the entire band was there. I think it was What Have You Done For Me Lately? I think we busted into that. I remember just going into sort of a trance state because it was like, okay, I'm here. We're doing this. I may not make it, but I'm going all out. I'm doing everything I got.
Yeah.
And Janet wasn't there. She wasn't there.
Yeah.
She was the musical director in the band. And I'm literally breaking a sweat because we are just going. I refused to stop. I was like, every time we got towards the end, I was like, no, let's keep going. And we just danced off my gear. Yeah. And I remember that Rex came over to me, tapped me on the shoulder. Tapped me on the shoulder, and I looked over, and Janet was standing behind me about 10 feet back.
Oh.
I was like, woo!
He got the gig. Yeah.
Congratulations.
It was a beautiful moment. I was so happy. And that tour went on for 2 years. We went around the world. I met so many amazing musicians and people. And it was another springboard for me to move on into other gigs as well.
Then you did Mariah Carey and Boys to Men.
Yes, the Mariah gig was an audition too. And the musical director called me, who was Randy Jackson from American Idol fame. He was one of the coaches. Yeah. And he was musical director for Mariah at the time. And I believe there was a changing of the guard with the musicians. And he called me in, and it was a strange request that he made. He said, Hero, I got somebody to, audition on the piano, but can you play everything else in the audition? That's, not drums and bass. I was listening to Hero and I was like, oh my God, there's horns and strings and harps and there was so much going on, right? Yeah. And I had literally 10 days to come up with this stuff. So I devised a way to split my keyboard like 4 different ways and come up with 4 different patches that had those splits.
Yeah.
And so literally we got through half the song and he just stopped. And he goes, like, we don't even have to do any more. That's it. You got it.
Oh,
he's like, my God, you played every instrument. He's like, I didn't expect you to do that.
Thank you so much for doing the composition for Music for Global Change. We're truly grateful and love it as well.
My pleasure.
Yeah. You know the intro.
Yeah.
You did the.
We love it, don't we? It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. That was many years ago.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
Yeah, I love it.
So far back, I can't even remember where that was, right, Skyler?
Really?
Man, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's actually before my time.
I can dig it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
And we end the show with Music Can Save the World.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
So you're on the show every week.
You're all over it every time.
Wow.
You are.
All right, I'm honored.
Eric and I wrote this theme song for Obama before he became president, right? Then a couple of weeks later, he got the gig for The Voice.
Okay.
And he was like, Skyler, I don't know if I can finish everything up because, man, I got this gig and they threw all these songs at me that I got to learn. I remember
it was
that.
Insane. Do you remember me telling you?
Yeah.
It was 90 songs. I had to learn 90 songs in a week.
That's
and I was like,
incredible.
are you kidding me? I was like, what kind of craziness is this? The funny thing is they didn't let up off the gas pedal, and they haven't for 21 seasons. It's been a roller coaster. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. The funny thing was, I've been doing gigs with Mariah for quite some time. And so I was at a point where I was like, you know what? I really would like to learn some new songs. I really want to play some new music. I kept saying that every day. And then all of a sudden, bam, here comes The Voice. And the songs haven't stopped. I think I'm up to like 8,000 songs at this point after 21 seasons. It is insane. I got to tell you one thing, though, that has come from the show that I didn't really expect to happen in my career is that I've become pretty fluent at country music.
Wow.
And that was the one thing I didn't understand I would love, actually, because, I was thrust into it, actually. It's like being thrown into a pool.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of country songs, and we didn't have a pedal steel player, and we didn't have a fiddle player either. But I did have some very good sample libraries that emulated it well. So, and still to this day, anytime you don't see a pedal steel player on stage or a fiddle player on stage, that is actually me emulating.
Yeah.
And so through all these seasons and years, I've become pretty fluent at that. I'm surprised still to this day.
You're my composer, aren't you?
I love a challenge too. I do love challenges. And it just keeps you fresh. You know what I mean?
Because you've also worked with Soul to Soul. You've worked with many celebrities, the Backstreet Boys, Christina Aguilera, Alicia Keys, Miranda Lambert, and Taylor Swift, Jennifer Hudson, Tori Kelly, J-Lo, Carrie Underwood. The list goes on. Shakira, Kelly Jackson, Ariana Grande. I mean, out of all of the celebrities that you've worked with, who would you say was your one inspiration? I mean, obviously you work with so many celebrities. Would you be your favorite?
If you can even possibly actually
it's all amazing.
that's going to be difficult. And Skyler's listening, so just saying.
Obviously you're not Skyler Jett later.
It's funny. Each celebrity is different.
Yeah.
Each celebrity is different, and they operate on a different level, each one. The one thing that is consistent about all those artists is that they are all amazing.
Right.
So it's hard to compare. It really is. Each one, I mean, it's hard to put into words. It's like, I mean, do you like chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream? It's like all ice cream. It's all great.
Yeah.
So I can't really pinpoint one. I really can't. If I had one who was the most personable for me was an artist years ago, and he's not really on the radar. He's returned to the essence too. His name was George Howard.
Yeah.
He was a saxophonist, and he'd come out to my house, which was weird because I lived out in the country in a little town called Prunedale.
Yeah.
And he came out to our house and visited the family, and I was like, what are you doing?
He was so cool, man.
He was so cool and such an amazing saxophonist. He was actually one of the pioneers of smooth jazz. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at all the saxophonists today and listen to George Howard, you'll go,
he was amazing. This show is about social conscious music and the benefits of the lyrical content that can help young people. Instead of talking about yourself all the time, talk about something that can heal the world through your lyrics. And now it could be any flavor of music. I'd love to get your feelings about what do you think about?
There's artists that have approached a certain topic. In America, there's the problem with racism. And so you can go as far back as Billie Holiday. with string fruit, which is a haunting song. And then the lyrics are poignant. You know, it really reveals the horrors of that time. To still go through time, you see Mahalia Jackson, We Shall Overcome, Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. You know, Sam Cooke, Change is Gonna Come. Even with Love, you got OJ's The Love Train. Yeah. Stevie Wonder, when he got in that, he was in the accident and, you know, it was almost fatal, came up with Higher Ground. You know, you got so many lovely songs, man, by artists. Wake Up Everybody, you know, even remade by John Legend and The Roots, who did an awesome album of conscious songs. You got Black Eyed Peas, Where's the Love? Green Day, American Idiot, Dixie Chicks, Lady Gaga, Born This Way, Kendrick Lamar, All Right. You know, I got to go back to Janet Jackson when she gets State of the World and The Knowledge. Michael Jackson did some conscious songs, of course. Bruce Springsteen, American Skin, you know, and then you can come to today where you have rappers that are conscious. Nipsey Hussle, you know, he's gone back to the essence too, but you had Nas with, you know, I Can and Daughters and Kendrick Lamar, Vince Staples, J. Cole, Chance the Rapper, Common, Eric B. and Rakim would Teach the Children, Public Enemy. Wow. You know, they did Mine Again, Jay-Z with, you know, Spiritual. Logic did America. Donald Glover did America. There's so many songs out there that are conscious that I personally love. And we can't forget the staple singers.
Right, exactly.
Oh my God. The staple singers, they did some,
I Know a Place, Ain't Nobody Crying. What was that too?
Yeah. So many. Freedom Highway. Why Am I Treated So Bad? For What It's Worth.
Sly Stone,
all that.
The Everyday People, and I want to take you higher, and
Curtis Mayfield, Move On Up.
Nina Simone. What we're actually trying to do here is corral this genre. As you can see, it's been there all the time, but it's never been at the forefront. You know, you got blues and jazz and R&B and classic. There's never been a social conscious platform, and that's what we're trying to create here by bringing all the artists that produce this kind of music, and then start doing festivals around social consciousness. What's your feeling about that? What do you think?
I think it's important. I know that the public now is inundated with information.
Right.
If you've got a smartphone, you've got the world at your fingertips.
That's right.
You've got all the data, you've got all the music, you've got all the videos, everything at the touch of a button.
Right.
And so what is not prevalent, I think, is exactly what you're speaking of, which is social consciousness.
Yes.
On a global scale, on a mass scale, just to expose people to another way of thinking.
That's right.
To embrace love and harmony and respect and peace over other things.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's so important to have balance in this world. And I think a lot of young children are off balance because they're inundated with so much that is not in that particular direction. So I think it's important for there to be a platform and there to be young people who embrace this platform and produce material and product that will be accepted by the masses. And, you know, it just needs to be, we need to have the Amazon of social content.
Yeah, man. I think it's wonderful because when I go out and speak to young people, I challenge them and I say, I'm a social conscious music producer. And they go, that doesn't sound exciting, right? But then when they see my videos, they get it. When I write about the homeless, you know, music can save the world. When we wrote that one, save our children. The future depends on us to find solutions right now. Music can save the world, and it really can. You know, all the countries I've been to, every one of them had like different instruments, and they had people that could sing in their own language, but it was still the same 12 notes from Bach to rock, right? So I love when I find musicians that write conscious songs, even though there's not a platform for it. If you write this stuff, where you go sell it, you know, or where you go perform? That's what our, you know, this Music for Global Change thing we're doing is all about. And I can't thank you enough for coming on here to speak about that, because it's essential and it's needed.
It is needed. It is needed. And I hope that this comes to fruition and we're able to affect change in a lot of people. I think it's just a matter of people shifting their focus.
That's right.
And a lot of times people just need that nudge or just to be shown the light. They're like, oh, Really? Oh, I didn't even know. A lot of people don't even know, man, the details of life, how to respect the earth, how to respect your fellow man, how to respect yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's I think that's something that's really needed. You know, if you can't get it in your community and can't get it at home, there needs to be a platform out there where you can get this information, you can get the support and this love, because it's based on love. And my God, that's the most important thing.
Eric, how many people come on the show that want to do their own songs?
I think all of them.
Really? Okay.
Everybody wants to do their own music, but this isn't really the platform for that.
Yeah.
It hasn't been, and I don't know if it will be in the future. I'm not one of the producers, but it's a format that's been proven there in Europe before it even got here. So I think they're just going to stick with just people singing other folk
songs. Yeah, cover songs. Tom, you got a question for Eric?
I have, yeah. Eric, got any more plans? You've done various tracks already, sort of social conscious music. Have you got anything more planned at all?
I do, Tom, and that's a great question, because with this show, I don't have any time to do anything. And it's hard when I try to explain to people, but when I am working on the show, I wake up and I am working until it's time to go to the studio, work there, leave there, come back, continue working until I go to sleep. It's almost around the clock. I don't have any time when we are in the thick of it to do anything else. Mm-hmm. And so that's been a huge change for me, because I'm a creative person at heart. Mm. And so this has really stripped that part away from me. So I'm really anxious to get back. Right now, you guys have caught me at the first hiatus that we've had in 10 years. So this is the first 6 months I've had off in 10 years.
Wow.
And I am embracing it. I'm loving it. Anyway, I'm embracing this time. I want to get that creativity back, but I do have a home that has been neglected here while I've been at work. So I am now the handyman. So I'm dressed up now, but when I get off here, I'm going to be back in my overalls, hammering and plumbing, electrical, and all that. So that's the other side of Eric Daniels. You guys don't know.
Man. Yeah,
I'm a handyman.
So Eric, we must put out Music Has Saved the World. That song will never lose. It's timeless. It could be done in different languages and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yes, it could. Yes, it could.
And my dream is to get it to be like a We Are the World, where people take different lines from it, and then have a choir with elders and children on the choruses. You know, I think it could be really, really major, man. And so I'm going to work on that. And I've always been, you know me, I keep plugging away at our songs, and we get this Music for Global Change thing going. And we'd love to have you come over and do some concerts with us, man, when we get to.
I love traveling. And seeing new people and getting new experiences and interacting with people, and we inspire each other.
That's right.
That's the magic of life.
Skyler on stage. What do you reckon?
Absolutely. It'd be some serious. I mean, Eric is just like so amazing. I mean, what was that tune? What You Won't Do for Love? What was that? I used to be in a band with Eric called the Bucks, and we were like a funk band, right? But the band was like, it was just out. We practiced, 5-6 hours a day. Here he comes. Hey, brother.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, Urs Wiesendanger. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
That is correct.
You're a producer, drummer, pianist, keyboardist, singer. Your latest album is Breakfast in Paris, I believe.
And it'd be my dream for you and Eric to work together, man. Eric, Urs is amazing. He used to play with
Urs. He doesned need me. He's doing fine.
I know, but you guys
need each other, bro.
Yeah. It's amazing. He played with Jeff Lorber a lot. I met him to Chris Camozzi.
Yes.
Do you know Chris Camozzi?
Yes. Oh man, we're talking early '90s was the last time I saw Chris.
He was the musical director for Michael Bolton. For a while.
Right.
He introduced me to Urs, and we all wrote a song together, man, called "The Luckiest Man in the World."
Right.
Urs actually got that song on a compilation record.
It's a compilation in Spain from a record company. It's called Contanti y Sonanti.
Yeah.
And they're specialized in like West Coast pop music. So like really the soulful stuff we love. I assume we love.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to see this studio where Urs lives, actually, in Switzerland, right?
Yeah, I
It's
literally live in a recording facility. It's kind of crazy, but
Nice.
That's incredible.
Nice.
it's unusual.
It has like little apartments in there, and they got kitchen and some of the people that's recorded at your guys' studio. Who's that?
Oh, I mean, the studio exists. It's called Powerplay Studios, by the way, and it's the largest facility, multi-room facility in Switzerland. It's been around since '83, and it was built by a great friend of mine, Jörg Peterhans. He still lives. He's still a great engineer, but he doesn't work anymore. He lives in the Tuscany, which is a great place to live, I guess, probably better than Switzerland. But anyway, so the studio has been around for a long time, and we had a lot of great clients over the years. You know, I don't want to drop too many names here, but I mean, Prince was here like in 2011 before he died. He was here for 10 days.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga recorded here. We did a couple of things for the Titanic soundtrack with some strings recorded here, in fact.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a multi-room facility, which you usually wouldn't find in Switzerland. It's very Americana, like American style, you know, Tom Hidley, the room designs, all this, you know, the guy who did all the Westlake studios and most of the studios in Los Angeles and on the West Coast.
Mhm.
It's a great place, and you know it had of course its ups and downs because the industry changed so much over the years.
That's
But
right.
now you know it tends to be a little bit more on the analog side. People love to use gear again. I'm more into the computer world, but I still use the studios, of course. I just live here, and I'm surrounded by these beautiful places. I rent the rooms if I need them, but myself, I am in a smaller project studio here, and it's like an office thing, and I can work here, and it's beautiful.
I see some
Hey.
awards behind you, yours as well. Are those awards yourselves? I can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
some.
There's some stuff, you know.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was a project I did for a famous European musician, artist, DJ Bobo. What a funny name, right? But he's very successful. Very successful, and yeah.
Right, yours, as I've been reading a little bit more about yourself, in 1969, I noticed you started playing the piano at the age of 3, and later on you worked with your teacher, Pierre Favre, towards a career as a jazz drummer. But also, when you was 12 years old, you went on tour with a big band of the Swiss National TV and started performing in exclusive Swiss jazz clubs, together with his older brother, jazz pianist Urs Wiesendanger. Which is
That's
really
correct.
exciting. So you started out at a very young age, didn't you? The age of 3.
Very early.
But also at the age of 15, you wrote your first pop song and started producing yourself. And today you're considered to be one of the most talented arrangers and producers in Europe, which is phenomenal. So well done. And also your well-known Swiss musicians like DJ Bobo, Nubia and Carmen Fenk, as well as Swiss National TV. And in the US, you also regularly collaborated with renowned artists such as Jeff Lorber, Dave Koz, Warren Hill, Mickey Petralia, John Robinson, Chris Camozzi, Michael Lando, Dean Parks, Ruth Mixter, and the late Warren Weeb.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then also Breakfast in Paris is, again, your 4th album. And going back to 1985, after I Will. And then you had another one, The Real Me, in 1998, and Somebody New. And also unreleased tracks in 2015, A Tribute to the King in 2017. The list goes on, to be honest. So you've had a very colourful, amazing life, I think, personally.
Thank you. Sounds like I can't keep a job. But,
Very busy. So who was your inspiration, yours, as you know, as a child growing up? Who would you have sort of looked up to and been your inspiration?
Thanks for asking. Well, I got an early start basically from both of my parents. My mom used to play violin, more in the classical world, and my dad, he was sort of the Kickstarter for me loving jazz music. He had a record collection for about 4,000 to 5,000 albums. And he always, when I came into the room, he started to play Oscar Peterson, Benny Goodman, and they took me at a very early age. They took me to Benny Goodman's concerts, Oscar Peterson, and I've learned to love jazz in a very early age.
Yeah.
And of course, Oscar was, for most piano players probably out there, dangerous cat.
Yeah.
If you hear him, you don't want to play again, right? So,
Exactly.
so that got an early start. And then my brother Chris, he was also into jazz, but he migrated into pop music. So I started to listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire and all that stuff through my brother. And that kind of bounced around. And he's more into jazz now these days. I'm more into pop. So it kind of switched around, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
jazz is, blues and jazz is the basic of everything, including classical music. And the rest is pop. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So have you actually written any social conscious songs? I'm intrigued at yours.
Well, equal. Yeah, you did. Come on, man.
Maybe I wrote a bridge. Okay, I wrote a bridge.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Right?
It's definitely, I love the song, absolutely everything that Skyler's involved.
Yes.
I love, because he's my brother and he is such a talent. And Skyler, I want to just on that note quickly, because Skyler gave me the opportunity to meet so many great people over the years, and he's such a wonderful soul. He doesn't ask for anything. He's just a giving person, which is rare to find in this industry, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hey, we can't do nothing by ourselves, man.
Yeah, music is such a global thing, and for everybody who thinks that music is something you can do in your basement alone. I mean, you can, of course, but without all the other people who did it before you and with you, you wouldn't be where you are. So
that's right.
We all need each other, right?
And you're working together on Sunday, Skyler, aren't you, on your latest track, which is really exciting.
Yeah, we're doing a track because, like I said, I had that heart attack, and I wanted to write a song about people that get a second chance in life, right? When I walk down the street and I walk by flowers now, I actually notice them. And I actually notice the color and the smell and stuff like that, absolutely. I really think that, God's keeping here to, if I can get this thing off the ground with the social conscious music genre, I love to leave the earth starting a new genre that can carry on with young people, not so much writing about themselves, but writing about ways we can help each other, And
it's great. It's great. And at the same time, a very high goal to aim.
It is.
A world without music would be very scary. It would be extremely, even elevator rides would be so scary. But, music is we're not fully understand what actually music does to our brains, I guess. Yeah. And therefore to our bodies,
Right.
But even those that have Alzheimer's and their mind goes, but they always seem to remember songs. And like they say, people with dementia and Alzheimer's, it's good to sing to them because the mind seems to remember a particular song that they loved as well. So it's also therapeutic, isn't it?
It is.
It's brought people out of being in a coma. There's been doctors say, hey, go get their favorite song. It's awakened people. Eric, I gotta love you for this, because Eric reeled off about 15 names that I totally forgot about that wrote social conscious music.
Yes,
Eric?
And there's more. There are more too. I'm leaving people out. I think it's been a constant through time, through the music industry, where artists did gravitate towards something that was important outside of "I love you."
Exactly.
And it's been done throughout the years, and a lot of people have been forgotten about. But these songs are important to look back on and build upon as we move into the future and try to build global change.
No, when I tell kids, I said, if there was something that you could change, what would that be? Oh, I'd do this. I said, there's your song. Write about it. And it's the most beautiful thing. You get in front of like 300 kids and 25 or 30 of them call you back, hey, Skyler. And it's just something about the way they say, hey, Skyler, I know that they wrote a social conscious song. But the most beautiful thing is when they say, hey, I played it for my friends and they loved it. I want to keep going. Right. And so we got desire to inspire. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. And that's what, to be honest with you, that's what I love about country music. I mean, they have great lyrics. They have lyrics about families. They address problems in a different way. It's not like a bubblegum kind of trap kind of, which is also fine, but it's a different thing, you know. Country music is very special in that regard.
You know what was crazy is Eric was talking about that since he's been doing The Voice. He's got a new appreciation for country music. It really is. I mean, I've written country songs before because the first publishing deal I ever got was down in Nashville, right?
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so I mean, I got some country stuff too, man. It's like I got some twangy. I got some old twangy stuff, man. Way back. Well, I'll take you back.
Nice.
And there's a place down there called the Bluebird Cafe, and you know, if you really want to see how good you are, you go sing there. You know, and it's just a little small place. Did you ever go to that place in Hollywood, in North Hollywood, where all the jazz guys used to play? And you can only get about 30 people in there.
Oh, it's a baked potato?
The baked potato, right?
Yes, of course. I love that place. All the great studio players usually go there and play.
Larry Carlton.
Probably for no money.
Right.
Probably even pay to play. But you know, but it's such a great vibe, great atmosphere, iconic for Los Angeles, and they really do make great baked potatoes. You know, like they're really huge ones.
Yeah. Well, we're starting on this song called "Keeping It Real," right? Just keeping it real. Well, Urs is helping me produce right now. He's about to make it into a record. You know, I just come up with ideas, but he take them to the level where, oh, now I'm ready to listen. You know, when I give it to you, it's AM. It sounds like AM. When he gives it back, it's FM. You know what I mean? That studio is so cool where Urs is at. Now, here's the cool thing. When you walk out of the studio, you're right on the lake.
Oh, lovely. Sounds
beautiful.
beautiful.
It's so beautiful. I mean,
it's very peaceful out here.
Whereabouts in Switzerland are you?
It's about 20 minutes from Zurich.
Okay.
With the car. So it's like really close to the airport and close to Zurich. It's all countryside. It's all on the countryside. And it's like you can't really build anything because it's farmland, right?
Yeah.
They're not able to put houses there. So you have the beautiful view. It looks like Canada or something. If you every morning I get a sip of coffee and stand outside and say, well, how beautiful is this? You know,
no, it's so beautiful. The Powerplay Studio, you can look at that town.
Yes, we have a great website where you can look into the studios and look at the surroundings and the Powerplay Studios.
Now, you wouldn't know this, but Tom does barbershop.
I do barbershop harmony. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I sing in a chorus of about 25 to 30 guys.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I've sang for 30 plus years now, I think.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, it's good.
I love them kind of harmonies, man. You know what I mean?
So what kind of tunes do you sing? Like,
all kinds of stuff, from kind of Gene Pitney and I suppose the most up-to-date songs we do probably would be the Beatles. I think we do Elton John, kind of the Lion King tracks from there. We do a couple of those.
Great. Well,
basically in a 4-part harmony style. So yeah, it's interesting.
Did you make any albums?
We haven't as a chorus. There are choruses that do, probably far better choruses than the one I'm in, to be fair. It's a totally global thing, and you find probably more American choruses because it started as an American hobby, literally started in the barbershops of America with guys, just 4 guys starting harmonizing, and that's literally where it started. So this was back in 1920 odd or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
But you could take some of that stuff, put a beat on it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, some, as I say, some choruses do kind of have the harmony, and then they will add strings to it or a beat to it, and so they do embellish it with other music as well.
That's wonderful. Beautiful. You have to send me some links or whatever you do.
Yeah, definitely.
Love to hear it.
So what are you working on now, Urs?
Well, right now, this week, the past few weeks were kind of crazy. I was doing a lot of just mixing for other clients. I've worked with a bunch of different producers. I'm just doing mix down work. So mixing a song, they bring me the tracks and I'll mix them.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a little vocal editing involved and, pitching some vocals and tuning and timing.
Yeah.
And that's for vocal editing. And sometimes they ask me to play some keyboard overdubs, but rarely actually. I just come in and do the mix. That's what I've done lately. And I produced a bunch of country albums.
Wow.
One is Bo Kotzmann and Ronja. They're kind of famous in Switzerland. I did a record for them, an entire record that was last year. And I just finished an EP for Backwoods, also a country album. some cool stuff going on, really. And
I'm going to sing you my really twangy country song.
Yeah, of course.
It's called Singing a Country Song.
Wow.
It's about this lady that, she has a drop top car, right? And she's living in another state. All of a sudden she takes to the highway. She got her guitar hanging in the back and she's going to play the Bluebird Cafe, right? She want to see how famous she is, right? Let me hear the music playing loud. Let me hear the music in the country crowd. I want to hear the music all day long. Let's sing a country song.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's great. That sounds like a hit to me, man.
It's pretty funny, man. But people that hear it, they go, Skyler, that's pretty twangy, man. It's like old time,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Country music is today's pop music.
Yes, because I talk about racism in music, right? That's one of the things I want to change is racism in music. We got to stop that, right? And age discrimination, because it doesn't matter.
Oh, absolutely.
It doesn't matter if your finger is 10 years old or 80 years old. When you hit the key of C, it's still the key of C.
Well, racism has no place anywhere. No place.
Right.
Period. And the change will happen because there are a few black country artists coming out.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's very cool. It's very odd to see right now because you're not used to it, but it's so cool.
Well, I like that Lionel did a duet album with all the country artists.
That's right.
Right.
He was great friends with Kenny Rogers, of course.
Yes.
They even had a studio together. You probably a lot of you don't know that Lion's Hair Studios was built and bought by Kenny Rogers and Lionel Richie. Yes. When
I replaced Lionel in '82, I had to learn all the songs. Right. Out of all those songs, my favorite song was "Sail On." That's a country song. Tuskegee, Alabama, where they from, it's only 3 lights in the whole town. It's so small, right?
Right.
And all the streets are named after the Commodores, right? They got Lionel Richie Avenue and all that. It's crazy. Anyway, they have one radio station there, and they play black music at 10 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock at night. All the other time was country music or rock.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so Ronald said, man, hey, let's write a country song. And they wrote Sail On.
Let me ask you one last thing.
Yeah.
I always feel that music is the only true magic, I think, right?
It is.
If there is any magic, it's music, right?
That's right.
So I don't want to tell you, just let me ask you this. What makes music so special comparing to reading a book or watching a movie?
Music is something that you can feel. You can close your eyes.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you, brother. You can listen, you can consume it with your eyes closed. That's what it is. That's what makes it so special.
We need to get rid of image too.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the way you sound has nothing to do with the way you look.
That's what I love about The Voice, right? Because you have the chairs, you don't see who's singing. Is that The Voice?
Yeah.
Right? That's The Voice, right?
Yeah.
I love that concept.
Well, listen, brother, we up on our hour, man. And thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, thank you so much for inviting me anyway. It's a treat to be on the show. Thank you so much.
And namaste.